in St. Louis. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Eddie, how you doing? Great interview with David Coverdale. I'm really looking forward to that Whitesnake tour. In fact, I started checking out the band that's going to open for them. They're called the Black Moods, and I really dug their music. I was curious if you've ever given them a listen or if you're familiar with them at all.
I'm not. I've not heard of them before. I saw them listed on the tour itinerary actually just after I hung up with David. What's their story, Dan?
Just straight ahead, great rock and roll. It sounds like a good mix of like a 70s vibe and with a little bit of 90s edge kind of mixed in. I was kind of blown away when I first listened to it, so I would encourage you to give them a listen. And I did a little digging. I saw that they had a song that was on the Billboard Top 40 for a pretty good chunk of time. I think it was on there for for 15 weeks on the mainstream rock charts. So,
how did you discover them, Dan?
Just saw that they were opening for Whitesnake, and I just did some Google searching.
Well, good for you, man. That's a good job by you, because a lot of people don't spend a lot of time looking at who the opening band is or exploring who it is or taking the time to discover them. So that's the way it's supposed to work. That's the way you want it to work if you're a band on tour with another band. So I'll check them out. I'm not familiar with them. Where are they from?
From Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to figure out if you want to get to the show early or not, right? So it's always worth checking out the opening band for that.
Yeah. All right, Dan. Well, good shout out there for that, and I'll explore them and check them out myself. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, definitely. I think you'll like them, Eddie.
Thank you, Dan. Take care. Dan. Now that's an example of a great rock fan right there, Dan, because that's the way things are supposed to work. So many of these opening bands that are not well known yet fly under the radar. There are also situations in touring known as buy-ons, where if there's a band on a show that you've never heard of trying to get started and you wonder why they're on there, they're not being paid. Now, I'm not saying this is the case with Whitesnake because I don't know, but it's also very common in the music industry in touring. I just got done talking about how literally everything is for sale. So is the opening slot if you want to open the show for some bands. So the old model was the opening act was paid. The headlining band found a group that they really liked. They wanted to give them a chance to get some exposure. They pay them a little something, offset their expenses. They take them out on tour. Well, that model has changed as well, because now what happens is, in some instances, the opening act is not being paid to play. They are paying to play. They pay the headlining band to play. And that in the industry is called a buy-on. Why would a band pay to play and take that hit and lose that money? Well, exposure. The chance to be exposed. Everyone's looking for a way to get in front of people and let people know they exist and get a chance for people to see you and hopefully build a fan base. So if you're a headlining band that can pull 10, 5, it even happens at the club level. Buy-ons even happen at club levels, folks. There are bands that are quote-unquote national acts and headliners that on their own pull 150 people in a club on any given night, and even they are finding bands that will do buy-ons just to get in front of that many people. I know for a fact. I know bands that have done it. So you'll have a band that the headliner pulls a couple hundred, and you have people willing to buy on to be on that tour and pay whatever the fee is, a monthly flat or a weekly flat rate, to go on third or fourth build every night in front of maybe 30 people by the time they go on. Happens every day, all the time. It's very standard. My point about bringing that up is that those bands, their desired impact of paying that money is to hope that you get there early, care about them, and become a fan, and that is why they make that investment and pay to play. But the reality is, most fans want to find out what time the headliner starts so they can spend more time in the parking lot, in a bar, or in the restaurant and not see the opening bands. And, that sucks, because if the band is good, it's a great opportunity to be exposed to some new music and further rock and give these acts a chance to grow. But it rarely works, because most people don't get there early. Most people don't care. They don't want to know. They don't want to take the time to explore and find out. Great job by Danny. Saw the name, Googled it, liked it. Now he's going to go see them and become a fan, or potentially become a fan if he likes what he saw. But you'd be surprised how many people, up-and-coming bands, are just so desperate for anyone to see them and know they exist that they'll pay a band, I don't know, a couple grand a week at the lowest levels just to be able to play in front of maybe 20, 30 people.